is short, forgetting is long. 爱太短，遗忘却很长。Hello everyone! Last time we talked about nature poetry, and today we will discuss another equally important subject, love. If you study poetry closely, you may find that most of the poems people love are about love. Since love is an eternal subject worldwide, we find countless love poems in Chinese and Western classics. Although they share a lot of similarities on form and contents, since love is a common emotion for all human beings, there are also some distinct differences. Generally speaking, Western poets are bolder and more direct to express love and more likely to use concrete images. For example, Shakespeare pours out his passionate love by using a beautiful comparison in his most famous Sonnet 18.
Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag thou wander'st in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
我能否把你比作夏季的一天？你可是更加可爱，更加温婉。狂风会吹落5月的娇花嫩瓣，夏季出租的日期又未免太短。但是你永久的夏日绝不会枯凋，你永远不会丧失你的美貌。In this poem, the girl is compared to a flower in May and one day in summer. Shakespeare used the vivid and concrete images to convince his readers that the girl he loved is so lovely and tender. Unlike the clear and concrete images in Western poetry showing lovers' tangible beauty, the lovers' images in ancient Chinese poetry are usually vague and mysterious. Love comes from nowhere and may fade away somewhere. Take 蒹葭, the famous love poem from 诗经, for example. 蒹葭苍苍，白露为霜。所谓伊人，在水一方。溯洄从之，道阻且长；溯游从之，宛在水中央。The poet pays no efforts to describe the lover's appearance. Instead, he focuses on the process of finding his love. Upstream he goes, the way is none. Downstream he goes. It seems that the girl he loves is there in water, even though we have no idea how the girl looks like. We are touched by the man's great efforts to find her. In Western poetry, it seems that there is always a concrete reason for the pursuit, either for the girl's beauty or for her pilgrim soul. As Yeats writes in his most famous love poem, When You Are Old.
Imagine, when you are old and grey and full of sleep, and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace and loved your beauty with love false or true, but one man loved the pilgrim soul in you and loved the sorrows of your changing face. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled and paced upon the mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. Imagine Ireland.
当你老了，头发花白，睡思昏沉，倦坐在炉边，取下这本书来，慢慢读着，追忆当年。多少人爱过你青春的片影，爱过你的美貌，虚伪或是真心。唯独一人爱你朝圣者的灵魂，爱你哀戚的脸上岁月的留痕。
头发白了，睡意昏沉。
While in Chinese love poetry, the poet just asks, 问世间情为何物，直叫人生死相许。How or why the love starts or ends is not important. What really matters is my present feelings to you. In Chinese poetry, love is usually expressed in a subtle way, such as 春蚕到死丝方尽，蜡炬成灰泪始干 by using the images of a silkworm spins silk until it dies, and the candle dries its tears until the last drop. The lasting love is shown indirectly. By contrast, the Western poets tend to express love more direct and bolder, such as, my love is like a red, red rose that newly sprung in June. I will love thee still till all the seas gone dry.
That's newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly played in June.
Obviously, different culture leads to the different ways to express love in poems. Chinese culture doesn't encourage direct expression of emotions, especially love. Cautiousness and implicitness are regarded as great virtues in Confucian culture, so we seldom say love directly to our dear ones, either in daily life or in poems. In contrast, Christian culture regards love as the most natural thing, so the Western poets are more at ease to express love in a bold and free style. Another interesting difference in Chinese and Western love poetry is that most Western love poems are written from the perspective of a young man who is courting a girl, while in ancient Chinese poetry, large amount of love poetry just depict a wife's love to her husband, such as the famous 一剪梅。红藕香残玉簟秋，轻解罗裳，独上兰舟。云中谁寄锦书来？雁字回时，月满西楼。花自飘零，水自流，一种相思，两处闲愁。 此情无计可消除，才下眉头，却上心头。Love between poetess Li Qingzhao and her husband is so strong that it may be out of brow but into the heart. And the longest love poem in China, 孔雀东南飞, a peacock flying southeast, is also about a couple's loyalty to each other in spite of the family's great pressure. "Oh, mother," says the husband, 焦仲卿, "I was lucky when I married this girl. We are husband and wife. We will be husband and wife until we die. 尔以薄禄相，幸妇得此妇。结发同枕席，黄泉共为友。" Hearing that she is driven out of home by her mother-in-law, the young wife Liu Lanzhi says emotionally, "I wish our love could stay engraved in our minds. 时时为安慰，久久莫相忘。" And in the end, their love remains even after they die. By contrast, Western poets do not care so much on what would happen after the prince married the princess. What interests them most is the process of courting, not the result of it. So Byron dwelt in the pain of love departing. "If I should meet thee after long years, how should I greet thee? With silence and tears. 若他日相逢，我该如何贺你？以沉默，以眼泪。" And Ben Jonson was in the exhilaration of flirting with Celia. "Drink to me, only with thy eyes, and I will pledge with mine. 我 leave a kiss, but in a cup, and I'll not look for wine. Keep in your mind, all those beautiful poems are about love before marriage. So, what makes those differences? One reason is that China is influenced by Confucianism, and Confucian ethics is the priority for every side of Chinese life. And so love between husband and wife is the start of ethics. Therefore, Chinese love poems are mostly about couple love. While in Western society, individualism is put to a high place. Since love is an inseparable part of an individual life, no wonder that Western love poems mainly focus on the pursuit of love instead of married life. Besides, influenced by night culture, the Westerners are polite to women, and it's a fashion for the young man to pursue his love. But in traditional Chinese Confucian culture, women are thought to be inferior and had little chance for education. Usually, their marriage is arranged by their parents, and it's a rare thing for free love. That can explain well why there are so few Chinese love poems about free love. Now, let's review this part by 3 questions. Number 1. What are the different writing skills of love poetry between Chinese and Western culture? Chinese love poems are usually implicit and indirect in showing love, and the affection can only be read between lines, while the Western love poems are much bolder and more direct. The poets often use vivid and concrete images to bring their loved ones to life. Second question. What's the big difference in subject choosing of love poems? Chinese love poems often depict couple love and extol the loyalty and sincerity between husband and wife, while in the Western love poetry, couple love is seldom concerned, and most of love poems are from the perspective of a young man pursuing a beautiful girl. Third question. What are the cultural factors behind the differences in Chinese and Western love poetry? Greatly influenced by Confucianism, cautiousness and implicitness are regarded as virtues. So Chinese love poetry lacks the boldness which is often seen in Western literature. Besides, Chinese culture focuses on family life, so couple love is put in priority, while in Western culture, individualism is highly valued. The popularity of night culture is another reason for the Western description of love beyond marriage.